When you're stalled in the middle of a live racetrack in a $3 million car, it gives you time to think. How did I get here? Am I going to die? Can I afford to die in this car? This is Magny-Cours, one of the most iconic racetracks in Formula One history. Senna, Schumacher, Hamilton, they've all raced here. That is a Prost AP04, an F1 car built in 2001. It has a V8 engine that pumps out over 800 horsepower. It has a top speed north of 200 miles an hour, and I tried to drive it. Okay, I'm here at Magny-Cours to answer the question, will they let anyone drive a Formula One race car? The answer is yes, they will, because I'm anyone and I'm about to do it. I am nervous. I'm very nervous. Why? Because if you're wondering what my background is, I've gone karting one time and I drive a Volkswagen Golf. That's all of my experience racing.
But here's the real answer. Yeah, anyone can drive a Formula One race car, but hardly anyone can actually race one.
I got 5 laps in a Formula One race car. No track limits, no pace car, no rules. And here's the most important thing I learned that day.
At no point was the car ever at its limits. I was.
This machine is capable of extreme things.
And I learned very quickly that I am not.
I took part in the LRS Formula One experience at Magny-Cours in France. It's open to anyone over the age of 25. If you want to know about the logistics or cost, I've got a separate video linked in the description that covers all of that information.
Today, we're only talking about driving the car. So, what's it like?
Driving a Formula One race car is what I would imagine it's like to drive a literal rocket ship. One that costs more than your house, or multiple houses for that matter, and is deeply offended by mistakes.
It's loud, it's violent, you're inches off the ground and completely exposed to the elements. Everything vibrates. Breathe on the accelerator and you could lose your grip. Tap on the brakes and it feels like you're trying to stop time. And the whole time, this single thought is running through your head. This is a $3 million car. If you break it, you buy it. You are literally managing personal bankruptcy at 160 miles an hour. Naturally, piloting such a machine would require extensive training, right? Right?
Well, what better way to put your mind at ease than a 5-slide PowerPoint presentation in French. They drove us around the track once in a Sprinter van to give us a breakdown of how to race. Before the F1, they throw you into an F4 car. About 200 horsepower. This is supposed to ease you in.
It does not ease you in.
I had forgotten to brake. And so I slammed on the brakes and I went off into the gravel everywhere. You just really don't know what to expect until you get out there. But the biggest thing they tried to tell you in the learning course, the 30-minute course, the course that took 30 minutes, was that you want to be looking ahead constantly. So by the time you're turning, your eyes should be at the next apex or something like that. And it is so hard to do that when you're driving because everything's happening so quickly. You're focusing on the fact that you're doing 130 miles an hour, 150 miles an hour. But then you have to think, okay, I got to brake at this point. I got to turn. I have to wait. I have to accelerate. And then on top of that, you have to remember to look ahead. What's going to happen with the big car? I don't know. But we'll see.
Here's the irony of racing. It's not complicated, but it's incredibly hard.
It's incredibly hard because you're making tiny decisions constantly. What's my speed? When do I brake? Am I going to lock up? Where's the apex? When do I straighten out? How much gas do I give on the exit? Did I miss my upshift? Is the car supposed to wobble like that?
You're expected to answer these questions in a fraction of a second.
And the consequences range from embarrassing to life-altering. After the F4 session, they pulled the F1 drivers aside for the final briefing. It took 3 minutes. I know it took 3 minutes because I filmed the whole thing. No full throttle until 4th gear, brake hard early, tires will be cold.
Honestly, the guy could have told me that spaghetti was a vegetable and I would have nodded my head.
Because yes, I was listening, but no, nothing was being retained. The anticipation of driving a Formula One race car is unreal. You're watching these cars scream by.
And the whole time you're asking yourself, how am I gonna do? Am I gonna go fast? Am I gonna crash? Wish me luck.
They strap you into that thing tight. And the car is wide, but somehow still cramped. I remember I had to tuck my elbows in just to turn the wheel. And they do not tell you how to get out.
And so I asked the guy, how do you undo the seatbelt?
Si la voiture est en feu, s'il y a une belle gonzesse sur le bord de la piste, faut ouvrir là. Okay?
Which means, oh yeah, if there's a fire.
They push started the car, hold the clutch, watch the RPMs, and then they yell, vas-y. You drop the clutch and you're off. The first thing you notice is the throttle. It is insanely sensitive. You breathe on it and the rear end explodes. It's not so much power, it's too much power. Period.
In order to fully harness it, you need to have a general disregard for your own personal and financial safety.
The brakes? You can brake way harder than feels reasonable.
And it's not physically hard to brake.
It's just really hard to keep track of brake pressure when you're staring down a hairpin turn at 150 miles an hour.
And here's what surprised me the most. The car wasn't scary because it was uncontrollable or physically demanding to drive. The car was scary because it was too capable. I wasn't sliding, I wasn't spinning. The car was totally fine. I just wasn't pushing it, like not even close.
The reason I wasn't pushing it was because I was so overwhelmed by the power. I was not used to being so low to the ground, going so fast. And at those speeds, you fully appreciate the rigidness of physics.
If you crash, you can die. Full f***ing stop.
So from my perspective, it was all about making sure things didn't go wrong.
Famous last words.
On my first lap, I stalled. Coming out of a turn, the engine just died. And that's when I realized nobody told me what to do if that happened.
I didn't want to put the car into the grass, so I just pulled off to the side out of the racing line. Except I didn't.
I stopped dead center of the racing line, on a straightaway, at the bottom of a very small hill.
Sitting stopped on a racetrack where cars can hit 200 miles an hour, driven by amateurs, is a very special and very real kind of fear.
Now, granted, my newfound friend and former fighter jet pilot, Yaroslav, was driving one of the other F1 cars on track, but still.
I remember hearing the noise of the engine as the cars approached. And wait a minute, Alex, cars? Yeah, both of them. That's right, one was trying to overtake the other.
Full throttle, overtake, right behind me. That is how close they came. Eventually a steward showed up, push start, back out.
And then I stalled again, the exact same spot.
It wasn't until my second time around that I realized what was going on.
You see, it's hard to understand the complexities of a Formula One race car. It's a lot harder to understand them when they're exclusively in French.
The issue I was having, I don't know if you saw, but they suspended the race because my car stalled because I was shifting too early. Because I drive a stick shift, and when you hear RPMs as high as it sounds in the car, you say, oh, I got to shift. But these cars are designed to go way, way higher. So I was shifting way too low. And what's funny is I stalled in the exact same spot twice. So they got me going again. I made it around literally the exact same spot. He turned around and came and he was like, what's the deal?
Once I figured it out, things got smoother.
On one lap, I decided to go for it. Full throttle, gears climbing, and the car starts to feel light, like it wants to literally lift off the ground. I was at the threshold of my own personal limit. In that moment, I was certain I hit 180, maybe 200 miles an hour.
The reality? About 160 miles an hour. Up until making this video, I thought the car only had 6 gears. It has 7. There was an entire gear that I never even touched.
Before leaving for France, I watched Kimi Räikkönen's pole lap at Magny-Cours. 1 minute and 16 seconds. My laps, around 4 minutes.
When you watch Formula One on TV, you think to yourself, I like to go fast, I could do that. But you don't truly appreciate the gap in ability until you experience it for yourself. I was at my absolute limit, white-knuckled, fully locked in. And I didn't even make it into top gear. To do that for 60 laps at nearly twice the speed is literally insane. To embrace the car and push it to its limits requires a certain kind of crazy. So, can anyone drive a Formula One race car? Yes, anyone can drive one. You might stall it, you might miss a gear, you might never even find the top end. But the car is surprisingly manageable at a fraction of its potential. Anyone can drive a Formula One race car. Only a select few people on this planet, though, can actually race one. I walked away humbled, and honestly, a bit frustrated. All right, well, that was very humbling. The gearbox was really tricky. I f***ed it up a bunch. Between the stalling and the missing gears, I didn't perform up to my abilities. And that honestly frustrates me, still, like to this day. But I also pushed myself to my absolute limit. Both of those things can be true. I sucked, but I sucked about as hard as I possibly could. In life, you can choose to go far or go fast. I tried to do both, and I stalled twice. The exact same spot. I was joking with Clement. I asked him if he overheard anyone being like, oh, this guy sucks, what's he doing? But apparently they weren't talking trash, so all's well that ends well. Okay, I need a beer. So yes, you can drive a Formula One race car. You just might not do it very well. And it will still be the time of your life. I think this whole experience has just reminded me that I'm far less capable than I think I am when it comes to like athletic ability.